so clocks tick, and I thought that was just like a thing in books. I thought that was just like, like a children's book thing, and I didn't realize they really ticked in real life. So I was sitting in school, and I was like, the clock ticks, and my teacher goes, yeah. And I was like, oh, I thought that was made up. Kiersten Miner, I'm from Hayworth, Illinois. I cheered in high school, and so gyms, whenever you're cheering and everyone is like yelling and the whistles are really loud, that's pretty loud. Band. I was huge in band in high school, so I loved all of the different noises that I could hear in different instruments. I'm huge in music in general, so I've been to a lot of concerts. I love the concerts because they're loud. And that's good for me. I didn't realize anything was wrong. I just thought it was normal that no one else could hear background noises, and I just thought maybe it was just a loud environment, so I had a hard time hearing people's voices. So I had a double ear infection, so I had an ear infection in both of my ears. But I had a worse one in my left ear. In my right ear, it healed, so I didn't have the ear infection anymore, and I still couldn't hear. And so we went back, and we're like, do I still have an ear infection? And they're like, no, you don't have an ear infection anymore. And I remember I was laying down on the couch because I was home from school because I still didn't feel good. And my mom was trying to talk to me, but I had my left ear on the pillow, which was the one that still had the ear infection. And I couldn't hear her talking to me. She was in the other room, and then she walked into the room and was still trying to talk to me and couldn't hear her. And so she had to get right in front of my face and touch me in order for me to be able to hear her. And I was like, this isn't normal. And so she was like, well, do you want me to get you an appointment with Natalie? And I was like, I guess so, if it can give me answers for why I can't hear anything. It's scary, for sure. It's kind of like your whole life gets uprooted. It's like you're not expecting this, and then it happens, and you're just like, what's going on? How do you fix this? I was like, Mom, I don't want to go in. And I knew Natalie, so I knew it was going to be more comfortable than if I was with a not normal person, but Natalie's great in general. I think Natalie also being hearing impaired made it a lot easier because she understands those feelings. And then also she is able to hook you up with a better doctor because she's been to them. So she was actually the first person to really figure out where it was at in my ear that was wrong. And then when I went to the ENT, then they really figured it out. But it was definitely a lot more comforting knowing that she understood what it was going through. But I remember I was so scared because I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what I was coming into. No one in my family really wears hearing aids unless they're older, and then I guess I just never paid attention to it. So it was just a completely new experience, and I had no idea what to expect or no idea what was gonna happen. Yeah, I remember I walked in and I sat in a green chair because there's green and red chairs, and I sat in a green chair. I remember this. And we checked in, and I sat for 5 seconds, and then we went back into the room. And I remember the hearing test the most, the beeps, and it's can you hear this beep? And I was after that test, I was man, if I ever hear a beep again, I'm gonna go crazy. But I just remember hearing the beeps specifically, and they put the little earpieces in, and then just push this button if you can hear the beep. That's what I remember the most vividly.
Because you couldn't hear the beep?
Yeah.
So you just were not pushing any buttons?
Yeah. I had answers that yes, you have hearing loss, but then it was more of a why do you have hearing loss? So it's a relief, yes, there is something wrong. You're not just crazy, but what's wrong? So it's relieved that I knew that it wasn't just me, but it was oh, this is gonna be more than just one appointment. Yeah, it was honestly a little bit disappointing because that was the summer right before my junior year. And I was going on a missions trip that summer, and I was oh, well, if I have to go to doctor appointments and I'm gonna maybe have to have surgery, then maybe I'm not gonna be able to go on that. And I remember after I had surgeries on my ears, and after those I couldn't go swimming. And I love swimming. So I was oh, I'm not gonna be able to have a summer. And so it was just disappointment really that I felt I was gonna be missing out on things. And there was a weird period of time too where I knew that I had hearing loss, but I had to wait for my hearing aids because I had surgeries. And so it was I know that I can't hear, and everyone else knows that I can't hear, but I don't have hearing aids yet. That was an interesting time. My mom started texting me my chore list because I was what, Mom? I can't hear you. Okay, yeah, we're sitting in Natalie's office. I remember she put him in. She goes, okay, I'm gonna turn him on now. And I was like, okay. And it was my mom sitting in the room with me too. And I remember she turned it on and I heard my mom speak and I think my face like lit up. My mom goes, I wish I would have recorded this. Like your face was so funny. You were so excited. And I think the best thing was after we walked out of the room, my mom had to use the bathroom and it's like right over here. And I was sitting out here waiting for her. And I didn't realize that people can like hear you using the bathroom. So that was like the first thing I really heard. And I was like, I was appalled. I was like, are you kidding me? People have been able to hear other people using the bathroom my whole life and no one told me that? Yeah, so clocks tick, and I thought that was just like a thing in books. I thought that was just like, like a children's book thing, and I didn't realize they really ticked in real life. So I was sitting in school, and I was like, the clock ticks, and my teacher goes, yeah. And I was like, oh, I thought that was made up. And there's also, I'm a big reader. And so I was reading a book and I was turning the pages. And I was like, oh, this is cool. This is my favorite sound now. They make noise when you turn the page. Like, you know how if you're just like part of something for so long, you just get used to it and it's just like not odd to you, but then other people hear it and they're like, what's wrong with you? I actually made a list on my phone when I first got my hearing aids of all of the new noises I was discovering. And so I loved it. I was so excited. I didn't want to take my hearing aids out ever. These are glued to my body forever. I think it was just it took a while for me personally to get comfortable with my hearing aids, get comfortable to having something in my ear because I've never liked my ears being touched ever. Especially since I was a kid, I've had tubes. I don't like when people touch my ears. That's not an enjoyable experience. So whenever I put my hearing aids in, I was like, this feels weird, but it's cool because I can hear, but it feels weird. And so it took a while for me to get used to them. I think one of the biggest things was singing. And so I was in chorus. And so when I wore my hearing aids, I had a music setting, but for some reason I didn't think to use it. So I was just singing with the normal hearing aid setting. And I was like, this sounds different. And my pitch was off, which is interesting. It was interesting to me at least. That I could sing without my hearing aids and my pitch would be on, and then I put them in and my pitch was off. So then we came back in and we talked to Natalie and we fixed it. So we had a music setting that sounded like what it would without my hearing aids in because of the app. And then I also took voice lessons to readjust to singing with hearing aids in too. There's a lot less anxiety around social interactions, 100%. I used to think that it was just super socially awkward, and I'm realizing now that it wasn't that I was socially awkward or just had super bad anxiety about it. It was that I got scared because I couldn't hear people in conversations. So I would have to ask them to repeat themselves so many times, and I was like, oh, I just feel bad. And so now that I have my hearing aids, drive-thrus are so much easier because when they ask you questions about what you want on your food, I can actually hear them and I can answer them instead of just not being able to hear them, being really confused on what's happening. So that's definitely easier. Conversations are easier. Really, almost every single social interaction is so much easier and there's so much less stress around it because I can actually hear and interact better with them. If you don't do anything about it, then you're missing out on everything. You are. And you might not know what you're missing out on until you do it. But if you do it, and then maybe there is something wrong, but then you can get it fixed. There's people that are gonna help you along the way. And then your life is gonna get so much better and so much easier. There's gonna be so much less stress. So sometimes you just have to take the leap even though it's scary. But in the long run, it really just is a good choice. It's not something you think of. It's not. If you have normal hearing, then your thought isn't, oh, well, I'm going to a concert. I don't need to wear ear protection. And I wish I would have done those things because maybe my hearing would have gotten as bad. And so I think if you have good hearing, a lot of people take it for granted. I know I did. And I just thought I had normal hearing and I had way worse hearing. And then I got my hearing aids and I was like, oh, this is awesome. Like everyone can hear like this. This is so cool. So if you have that, you really don't know how lucky you are, and you should definitely protect that. Like wear hear protection if you can. Like it's just really important that you don't destroy something that is a gift. I like that I can hear people's voices from other rooms. I don't have to be in the same room as you to hear you. That makes things a lot easier. This place has been like probably one of the most important places I've ever been. Really, like this place changed my life probably more than any other building, any other place I've been in. And the people are so awesome here. Like I would recommend this place to literally anyone because it's a scary thing to go through. It's terrifying. But the people here understand that and they know how to help you. And it's like you have someone holding your hand. Like you don't go through it alone when you're here. I've always been a very individual person, especially about my fashion. So I was just kind of like, haha, this makes me unique. Like if you wear glasses and you have your hearing aids in and you like listen to something with a lot of bass in it and you turn it up, they like thud against your glasses.
Do not put that on.